Lori. All across Nigeria, we bring you news and information that will make your day. We are news. We are 24 News Radio TV.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for joining us on the news at noon on 24 News Radio and Television. We do sincerely apologize once again for coming on behind schedule. It was due to a technical hitch. Thank you for your understanding. And now the news. As preparations for next year's gubernatorial election in Ekiti State intensify, residents have been advised to return Governor Abiodun Abayomi Banji to office for the continuity of his shared prosperity agenda. Anita, the governor, in a statement, noted that the achievements recorded by the Oyebanji administration in the last 2 years should continue. According to the former lawmaker, Mr. Oyebanji has done well in all the sectors of the socio-economic life of the people in line with his 6-point agenda. Mrs. Ayokunle said that the present administration's investments in education, health, agriculture, capacity development, provisions of infrastructure, and the completion of some abandoned projects showed that the administration has not derailed from its tracks. She called on Ekiti people to continue supporting Governor Oyebanji in his desire to make the state better than he met it. The federal government has gifted the winner of the Teen Eagle Global Finals competition, Nafisa Abdullahi, 200,000 naira. The girls, who emerged as winners in various categories of the prestigious academic competition, were recognized by the foundation for what it described as their remarkable success. At a special recognition ceremony in Abuja, the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, alongside the Minister of State for Education, Professor Suwaiba Ahmad, celebrated Nafisa's remarkable feat and other students who excelled during the competition. The national leader of the New Nigerian People's Party, Rabiu Kwakwanso, has maintained that he has no plans to defect to another political party. Making the clarification at the party's National Executive Committee meeting in Abuja, Kwakwanso said the NNPP was performing well in Kano and other states. He acknowledged that many people attended the meeting to hear from him, following recent fake news reports that he would be making a critical decision about his future with the NNPP. The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, has warned that over 2.1 million Nigerian children have never received a single vaccine, making the country the highest in the world with zero-dose children. UNICEF Nigeria country representative Wafa Said made the revelation during her visit to the Maiduguri field office. She revealed that nearly 1 in 3 Nigerian children under the age of 1 has never been vaccinated, leaving them vulnerable to deadly but preventable diseases. Chinese ambassador to Nigeria, Liu Dunhai, has called for global unity, a firm stance against historical revisionism, and stronger China-Nigeria ties. He made the call at a symposium marking the 80th anniversary of the victory in the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression and the World Anti-Fascist War. The envoy acknowledged Nigerian soldiers who fought in British Burma during the war, recognizing their role in the broader Allied front. The news at noon is coming to you from 24 News Radio and Television at Ekiti. You can download our app on Google Play Store or monitor us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok. And now to the rest of the news. 2 senior Republican senators, known for their strong advocacy on Taiwan, have arrived in the island's capital, Taipei, to discuss security amid a rising military threat from China. U.S. Senator Roger Wicker, chairman of the powerful Senate Armed Services Committee, and Senator Deb Fischer said their visit was to reinforce and emphasize the great partnership between the United States and Taiwan. The visit comes as the U.S. Senate is due to consider next week the National Defense Authorization Act, or NDAA, a nearly $1 trillion bill that sets policy for U.S. national defense. Meanwhile, the United States today ended tariff exemptions on small packages entering the country from abroad, in a move that has sparked concern among small businesses and warnings of consumer price hikes. President Donald Trump's administration cited the use of low-value shipments to evade tariffs and smuggle drugs in ending duty-free treatment for parcels valued at or under $800. Instead, packages will either be subject to the tariff level applicable to their country of origin or face a specific duty ranging from $80 to $200 per item. But exclusions for some personal items and gifts remain. And still coming from the US, a man convicted of the 1992 murder of three people, a man convicted of the 1992 murders of three people has been put to death by lethal injection in Florida in the 11th execution in the southern US state this year. Curtis Wyndham, 59, was sentenced to death for killing his girlfriend Valerie Davis, her mother Mary Lubin, and Johnny Lee, a man who allegedly owed him a gambling debt. The execution was carried out at the Florida State Prison, and his last words were unintelligible, according to US media witnesses. And from Japan comes the report that Japan's defense ministry is aiming for a major boost to its drone arsenal as part of another record. I'll take that again. Japan's defense ministry is aiming for a major boost to its drone arsenal as part of another record spending request made today to deal with a severely intensifying security environment. Japan, in recent years, has been shedding its strict Pacific stance, moving to obtain counter-strike capabilities and doubling military spending to 2% of GDP. The Defense Ministry's new budget request for the coming fiscal year, starting April 1, was $59.9 billion. And now on to Australia, where the report has it that Australian police told an on-the-run gunman accused of killing two officers to lay down his firearms today as they hunted him for the fourth day in rugged forested bushland. The heavily armed Daisy Freeman fled into the bush on Tuesday after opening fire on a team of 10 police officers at his home in the northeast of Victoria State. Police said the horrific shooting in the rural town of Pokumpa killed 59-year-old Detective Neil Thompson and 35-year-old Senior Constable Vadim Watts. Thailand's Constitutional Court has removed suspended Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra from office after finding her guilty of ethical misconduct over a controversial phone call with Cambodia's former leader. And now to sports news. Fenerbahce have decided to sack Jose Mourinho as their manager. The Turkish club have decided to part ways with Mourinho a day after they failed to qualify for the Champions League phase. They were eliminated by Benfica. The 62-year-old has only been with Fenerbahce for 8 months and leaves after only 2 matches this season. Mourinho led the club to a second place in the Super League yesterday. During his time in Istanbul, Mourinho failed to win any silverware, having been knocked out of the Turkish Cup in the quarterfinals and falling to Rangers in the Europa League round of 16. And with that news from the world of sports, we've come to the end of our package in the news at noon this afternoon. Thank you for joining us, and once again, we do sincerely apologize for our tardiness. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us.
From Abuja to Lagos, Sokoto